Yo, what's going on YouTube? We back at it with another video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below on what you want to see next. Today we're talking about something that can be a pretty big difference in how your plants grow, and that's humidity. Does higher humidity actually make plants grow faster, or is lower humidity better? Or is there a point where you can have actually too much humidity? Because like watering, lighting, temperature, more isn't always better. Humidity is basically how much moisture is in the air around your plants. And your plants are constantly interacting with that air through their leaves. They're taking in carbon dioxide while also releasing water vapor through a process called transpiration. So when you change the humidity, you're also changing how quickly the plant loses water. That can affect how much water the plant pulls through its roots, how stressed it becomes, and ultimately how well it grows. Let's start with higher humidity. When there's more moisture in the air, your plants generally don't lose water through their leaves as quickly. That can be especially helpful for younger plants because their root systems are still developing. This is one of the reasons seedlings and young plants often do better with somewhat higher humidity than mature plants. But here's where people can get it wrong. If some humidity is good, that doesn't mean you should just keep raising it. Once humidity gets too high, you can start creating a completely different problem. The air can become so humid that the plant isn't transpiring as effectively, and constantly damp conditions can also make it easier for certain fungal diseases to develop. Now let's go to the opposite side. When humidity is really low, the air is dry, which can cause your plants to lose water through their leaves much faster. The plants drinking more often, or the leaves beginning to show signs of stress if the conditions become too dry. So technically, a plant might be moving a lot of water under low humidity, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's growing faster. There's a difference between a plant actively growing and a plant working overtime trying to keep itself hydrated. So which one's faster? If we put two identical plants side by side, one with low humidity, another with high humidity, I wouldn't expect either to be the winner. Instead of asking how high can I get my humidity, ask what humidity level makes sense for my plants right now, because the ideal environment can change your plants as they mature. Humidity isn't working alone. Another thing I want to point out is that you can actually look at the humidity by itself. Temperatures matter too. A room at the same relative humidity can affect a plant differently depending on the temperature. That's why you'll sometimes hear growers talking about VPD. That's why having good environmental control can make such a big difference. At the end of the day, you don't just stare at the humidity number. Watch what your plants are actually telling you. Are some leaves looking healthy? Is the growing medium drying out at a reasonable rate? Are the plants growing consistently? Do you have good airflow? Those are all clues that can tell you a lot more than simply chasing one humidity percentage. So does higher humidity make plants grow faster? Sometimes a moderately higher humidity can support a faster, healthier growth, especially with younger plants, but higher isn't automatically better. Too low can stress the plant, too high can create its own problems. The goal is finding that sweet spot where your temperature, humidity, airflow, watering, and lighting are all working together. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below on what you want next, and we are out.